Hi, good morning, and welcome to the ARCHICAD 19 New Features Online webinar. So my name is Soto, and today I'm gonna show you all these new cool features for this new version. So first of all, let me introduce the demo project we have today. We'll be working with the signature building of ARCHICAD 19, the Bradford College project from Bond and Bryan Architects. That is a perfect example of advanced BIM modeling and open BIM approach. So what is ARCHICAD 19 all about? The ARCHICAD core values such as intuitiveness, interoperability, and authentic architectural solutions are the key drivers of our development. This year, however, we made a significant improvement in one particular area: performance. So today I'll speak mainly about this topic. Performance is a complex issue. Customers perceive it in a different way, and there's many factors that contribute to it. So let me show you or mention three examples. The sheer application performance is obviously very important. For instance, how long does it take to open a 3D perspective? Um, In this case, if I go to my 3D perspective, it should only take a few seconds to go to that 3D perspective. Okay, that's not much of a problem, but what if I have to repeat these steps many times a day? It could mean that I would spend several minutes switching between views. The second example is the number of clicks. How many actions do you have to take to perform certain task in this program? For instance, how many times do I have to click to modify the surface of this sofa? Okay, so the process, it would be one click to select it, two clicks to open the settings. Then I go to the sofa settings, 4 clicks, and then I select the new surface. 5 clicks, click again to change the cushion. 7 clicks, okay. 8 clicks, and then I click escape to deselect it. So that was around 8 or 9 clicks to change this. I'm pretty sure I can do this much better in ARCHICAD 19. The third example is related to a completely different topic: the user experience. How fast can you optimize the work environment? How easily you can maximize the usable screen area. The larger the usable screen, the fewer clicks you need to navigate in the active project. Okay, so at the moment, this is highlighting my active view. Okay, so after this short introduction, we'll start the live ARCHICAD 19 demonstration, and we'll show you how the new version can optimize your work environment. What you see now is the ARCHICAD typical setup on a Mac computer using a free-floating palette. This concept worked very well on smaller displays, but we need more comfortable solutions for the contemporary large resolution monitors. Users prefer to work with a freely adjustable single window that can be adjusted easily to any screen resolutions. So ARCHICAD single application frame window is now natively supported on Mac computers. So allowing you to drag or resize very easily ARCHICAD work environment size. So I go to the menu options, work environment, and I turn off the legacy Windows mode. Okay, so now this means that if I duck my navigator, if I duck my navigator to the screen, okay, just make sure that I check the box. Yep. Okay, so I duck my navigator. Now I can resize this user interface in many ways. So remember that some of you have requested a way to dock the Windows, the palette in the Mac version. So now we have this this wish um, fully fully realized in ARCHICAD 19. Okay, the native support of this Mac technology underlines Graphisoft's dedication to provide a BIM solution for architects in both platforms. Still in this track, let's find another ways to maximize the screen area. Okay, so Project Navigator occupies the large area of the screen when I turn on this full screen options. Okay, finally, we're gonna start using the new feature, the tab pages. The tab pages can be found in the menu Windows Show tab bar. You can see how comfortably we can access our favorite views without opening the navigator. The tab pages are very similar to those in the web browsers. You can rearrange, open or close them freely without any other graphical interaction. Okay, they're always at your fingertips. They provide instant access to your favorite views. Tab pages are not only comfortable, but they're intelligent as well. For instance, if I right-click on this interior elevation, it gives you quick access to all the views that belong to the same interior elevations. These new tabs can be added from the navigator. So I'm gonna turn off my navigator. Okay, but I can go to the navigator palette from this corner, and I can use it to, in a convenient way, add those tabs to my tab bar without having this navigator on the right. Okay, so now let's just start with the creative work. Before we begin the schematic design, we have a very important task. Okay, we have the task of creating the urban context of the project. The Bradford College building is located in the city center, so each architect has to visualize the neighboring buildings. This can be done in many different ways. We can start modeling this with ARCHICAD tools. We can import models from Google Earth. These are publicly available models, but they're usually not accurate enough for architects. Or we can just take photos, such as this one. It would be great if we could navigate through in 3D or photos. So now let's try this. I'm gonna click the Explore option. Okay, and probably you've realized this is not a photo we're looking at now. If you zoom in or zoom out, you'll notice that this is a detailed point cloud created with a cutting-edge laser scanner. ARCHICAD 19 natively supports the import of extremely large point clouds via the industry standard XYZ and E57 format. You might also notice that these extensive point clouds can be navigated smoothly due to the re-engineered OpenGL engine. according to our test. Models containing 100 million points can be displayed perfectly with the new ARCHICAD version. This native supportive point cloud offers important benefits for the architect. It offers a streamlined data communication with the surveyor, significantly less time spent on urban context modeling, high modeling precision in case of refurbishment projects, quick consistency checking during the as-built model. Okay, so still using this navigator, now I'm gonna add another tab to my tab list. Let's have a closer look at this as-built modeling workflow. Okay, on your screen you can see a point cloud survey of the garage level of the final constructed building. ARCHICAD 19 allows you to provide this visual comparison of the architect's model and the point cloud file. For better visibility in this model, we decided to highlight the construction element with a red color. After looking around, we can instantly notice that one particular column has been constructed at a slightly different position than the initial plan. So this deviation has to be reflected in the as-built model. Okay, the next project phase is conceptual modeling. We'd like to sketch up a major building blocks in the shortest time possible. For this, we need intelligent drafting aids that support fast modeling. So let's take this special shape building site. For instance, I want to display this major reference directions at any time without opening this site drawing. ARCHICAD 19 new permanent guidelines are perfect for this purpose. We can just turn them on and just drag a new guideline segments from any side of the working area, and we can drag them to the preferred positions. We can, unlike the temporary guidelines we had in previous versions of ARCHICAD, the permanent guidelines stay on the screen until you turn them off. They don't disappear after each modeling step. Permanent guidelines are also intuitive. For instance, they can automatically trace the direction of any model when you hover the cursor. Permanent guidelines are also available in 3D views. For instance, if I go to my perspective view, okay, in this perspective, where the major building blocks will be modeled with the morph tool, you can see that permanent guidelines work exactly the same way as they work in your floor plan. So let's just select this, okay, and use the push and pull option of the morph tool. Okay, so now we have the 3D models. We're ready to take the next challenge. The modeling of the sawtooth shaped roof above the entrance area. For this purpose, I like to use the morph tool, but I don't want to be switching between views, my floor plan, or elevations. I want to complete this complex modeling task exclusively in the perspective view. Okay, so we're going to turn on the snap guides. Okay, the snap guides is already set up to have 6 divisions, otherwise you can change the settings here. Okay, use number of divisions to 6. Let's also pick a vertical plane on the front facade of the entrance, as we're going to work on this surface. Okay, so when moving your cursor over any element edge, ARCHICAD 19 instantly displays the required division points and highlights them with visual feedback. Using the Smart interface, you can quickly draw the first edge of the roof for the creation of the next two segments. We'll be working with the new snap guide. This intuitive drafting and modeling solution displays the required construction lines, circles, and points on the fly. You don't need to push any buttons or any special commands. Okay, so using the snap guide, I create the first. I'm gonna create the first. Let me just check my plane. So this is my plane. That's good. Okay, and I start creating the lines with the snap guide. So there's my snap guide. Okay, based on the user's input, the pop-up automatically shows the cursor moves over construction elements. They offer important directions such as the horizontal or the vertical lines. In this example, we trace the intersection point of a horizontal and vertical lines. We pick up the previously created morph line segments direction and use it to draw the next ones. So using now the parallel lines offered by the snap guide. Okay, so let me just show you. Okay, so now that I have those parallel options, I can go and place this in parallel lines. Okay, so using the same snap guides, I use the snap and I finish there. Okay, so now the entire modeling is very natural, is very intuitive and fast. I can just select the faces of this morph and extrude those faces. Okay, so as you can already see in this elaborate model, we would like to sell our design concept to the client. For this, we need stunning visualization. With ARCHICAD 18, we deliver the right tool for that. We have the scenario render. The question is how quickly we can apply great finishes on the model elements so that they look good on renderings. Let me refer back to our initial problem, the number of clicks. If we remember, we needed 7 clicks to apply a surface finish to the sofa object. How many clicks do I need now? Only 2. So just open the new surface palette, the new surface painter palette. Okay, the Surface Painter palette also gives you instant access to all your OpenGL and Scenario Render materials with nice visual feedback. So we can drag and drop a proper surface to the element, and it doesn't get any simpler than this. The Surface Painter also allows you to search for specific finishes with keywords. Just enter the word timber and all the wood finishes should be displayed very quickly with their graphical view. I can turn off the guidelines, I don't need them anymore. Okay, so let's drag this nice wood material over the slab. Okay, um, this very quickly shows a preview how it's going to look like. If you like the result, you can click again and the new finish is assigned to the slab as a surface override in the material settings dialog. For library parts, the surface painter alters the corresponding material settings parameter in the object settings dialog. This is the most straightforward and graphical way of working with finishes. The new Surface Painter can do even more than that for you. So let's go to an external view of this Bradford College. Okay, in this, um, I'd like to try some design alternatives and compare different exterior finishes. So how can I select all the elements that have the current limestone finish before I modify them? Do I have to go through the entire model and select them one by one? Not with ARCHICAD 19. With the new Surface Painter, we have an inbuilt syringe option. This allows us to pick up the specific surface material and select all those building elements that have the same finish assigned to any of its surfaces. Okay, in this particular model, 175 elements bear the limestone material. Now all we need to do is grab a finish, for instance, the white brick. Okay, ArchiCAD will give me a fast preview of the new white brick finish if I hover that material over the original limestone. If you don't like the result, you can just cancel this modification by clicking the escape key. This intuitive solutions make visualization work significantly faster and more enjoyable than the previous version. So that was the fun part. We have to talk about more time consuming and sometimes even boring part, the documentation. Many people don't like construction documentation because of the tedious manual rework involved. Probably the most critical part is working with annotations, such as dimensions and uh, labels. So let's see how an ARCHICAD 19 uh, can streamline this workflow. First, with these dimensions, people is very keen on the quality of their documentation. Annotation text must be always visible and easy to read. In this example, some interior wall skin dimensions text are overlapping each other. Naturally, we don't want to clean up these issues manually on all drawings. Um, the new intelligent dimension text placement method offers a smart solution for the problem. With the center option, the dimension text will always be placed in the center of the dimension elements. Plus, they can be shifted to a different text row for better visibility. The second option is the flexible option. So this placement method intelligently offers the best possible text arrangement in the given situation by pushing the text to the side. Okay, in certain markets, uh, even if it's not the case in New Zealand, dimension text can be displayed with leader lines. Dimension text leaders can be created graphically, so I can just graph the text with the pit palette and move it to the preferred position. Leaders can be created automatically, yes, and they can be created uh, many of them at the same time as well. For better better options um, with this new leader lines, there's this dimension text that can have multiple rows now. Many architects are required to add the minimum or maximum values or other extra prefixes to the dimensions. Now with this function, if I go to the custom text, I can add the minimum prefix, and I can type the break line symbol. So now I can have multiple break lines in my leader lines. Okay, and what about labeling? The reason we mentioned labeling before is because of the number of clicks it involves. Okay, with previous versions, you needed at least 5 clicks. You need at least 5 clicks to place a label. So if I go to this drawing, um, um, now I can do this in a simple way. I want to use the label tool and just click any element that needs a label. This is exactly how it works in 19. So I go to my label tool. Okay, even if I don't change any of the settings, I can click there, and the dimension label is applied to this wall. Okay. Uh, this is a wish that has been fulfilled as well. So with this clever innovations in ARCHICAD 19, it significantly reduces the time spent on documentations. It allows architects to focus on what they like the best, that it's design. But continuing with this new label tool, if I open the settings, you will see that we have a highly parametric label library in this version. Special labels such as composites, curtain walls, tags, and categories. Now they're all available in version 19. So for example, I select that composite, and I just click there, and now it's telling me what's the composite of my walls. Okay, so that was the traditional part of the architect's job. Now let's talk about a different topic. Some people believe that the real value of BIM lays in the information that it's stored in the model. ARCHICAD ARCHICAD has been very good creating easy access to this information, but now in 19 we have to ask ourselves, how can we easily access the required data within ARCHICAD? How can we share this information with other people? So let's talk about quantity takeoffs. ARCHICAD has been traditionally very good in subtracting waste volume-based information from the BIM model. However, certain building materials such as insulation or the internal plaster finish have to be listed by surface areas. This is a complex task for any BIM application, as the reference planes for the area calculations are defined differently for every composite structure. For instance, the insulations are typically calculated in the center of the insulation layer, while the internal plaster area is measured at the internal surface of the wall. To illustrate this, we created a diagram to show how ARCHICAD calculates areas. They are based on a projection of the composite layers in here. Okay, so I'll close my surface painter for now. I'm gonna use it later. Um, so ARCHICAD 19 baselines for walls and base circles for columns can be assigned to any complex profile, so the calculations will always be accurate and reflect the user's needs. The quantity takeoff is now supported with a built-in surface schedule that provides a fast access to most typical area-based calculations. Naturally, this list templates are fully customizable to support local requirements you can see, such as list on the screen. Okay, so this list gives the total sum of all the insulation areas in the building. Okay, so regarding these calculations, people face an even more challenging task. The calculation of the exposed surfaces of internal surfaces. Um, so this structures, for instance, the painted surface of walls and ceilings. Sometimes the main problem is that the surface area is hidden by connected structures like this profile. So the problem here that you could think, okay, if I try to calculate this, I'm gonna have the total of the whole wall, and I won't be able to take away from the schedule um, this part of the wall to calculate the paint. So first of all, let's change the surface using the surface painter. So we go to Window, Palette, and use that surface painter again. Okay, so when I open it again, I'm gonna use this surface to change the surface of this wall. Okay, when we calculate this area, we want to see how it's going to look like in my schedule. We have a much improved option in the schedule that it's called the schedule reduce areas. Okay, this can be found if you go to that schedule, go to scheme settings, fields, and then go to expose area. This gives you the full control over the elements that affect the calculations. This area schedule templates provide accurate results with graphical clarity. Okay, for instance, in the schedule, the finished color can be displayed with a preview as well as with RGB colors. A check mark also shows that the building material surface has been overridden with this new surface. Okay, this was just a quick preview of the advanced calculations capabilities of ARCHICAD, but it's just as important to easily share the BIM model and documentation with your partner. Yet BIMX was somewhat limited in the number of BIM parameters it could display. ARCHICAD 19 brings a major leap forward in this area. With this new version, we created a custom door parameter list, which includes the industry standard, such as glazing type, fire rating, um, and manufacturer info. But what about if we want to see the information finally in BIMX? Okay, so I'm gonna switch to my BIMX model. Okay, so just give me a second to switch to BIMX. Okay, remember the BIMX, the hyper model is an element that can only be seen in uh, uh, mobile devices like the iPad or Android tablets. Okay, so now that we are on the BIMX application, I'm gonna go to the main entrance revolving door. So when I select this revolving door and go to the info page, I can notice at the bottom of this list that it's longer than it used to be. This is related uh, to the BIMX schedule I just showed you. This parameter list has a link. This link can take you to the manufacturer's website. The ability to assign web hyperlinks to BIMX elements is a real revolution in on-site data access. Contractors, facility managers, and builders can use this capability to add special info such as assembly or safety instructions to particular building elements. The new BIMX also provides the overall user experience. A typical challenge during 3D navigation is to always know your current position with the building. Okay, if if you don't know the project, you have to switch between sections, elevations. You have to go to the plan. You have to go to the plan to see what was the name of the room. So now with ARCHICAD 19, you can explore and BIMX the hyper model each um, each of the each of the zones. So you can see that the zones are showing on the top left corner. They're showing the name of the zone. Okay, so this is a different way and a much effective way of knowing how you're exploring your 3D view in BIMX. Okay, at the beginning um, of this presentation, I said I would talk about ARCHICAD performance. You've seen already many examples that show the overall design and documentation workflow that it's more effective and significantly faster in 19. So now let's look under this process to further detail and see this application performance. Okay, BIM software performance is best measured by navigation speed. You can feel it directly when you explore a 3D model. So let's go to this 3D view and let's start to navigate the Bradford College project in the OpenGL window. Although this is a fairly complex BIM model, the navigation speed is very good. Walking, panning, zooming, it all feels very natural. There's no flickering effects to disturb the navigation experience. This is the result of the re-engineered OpenGL, which provides dramatic improvements in display performance. Our test shows that the new engine can be up to 100 times faster with certain video cards. Okay, so let me show you a video that displays this performance. Okay. So just give me a second so I can play the video for you. There it is. Okay, so on the left side is 18, right side 19. Please also note that the frame rate meters at the bottom. We're navigating in the same model on the same computer. In this case, we're using standard MacBook Pro notebook for the test. As you can see, navigation in 19 is just more natural, it's smoother, it's overall faster, while there are some flickering effects and missing surfaces in 18. There's no such problems in 19. In this particular case, the overall frame rate is 6 times faster on the same computer. So this was the dramatic increase OpenGL performance. But now let's focus on other topic, the project navigation. Okay, so how fast can we switch between different project views? So I'm gonna go back to my main screen. Okay. Um, um, it's crucial for us to be able to update our views in a more effective way. ARCHICAD 19 introduces a revolutionary technology called background processing that, along with the tab pages, we can improve the performance in ARCHICAD. According to this concept, ARCHICAD refreshes the 3D model based on the recent changes, and it will only change that in the stored favorite views. So if we make a change, this icon in the corner in the background processing will start displaying a different icon, an update icon that will say, okay, my views are being updated while I'm still working on this view. So let's make a quick change. I place my marquee and go to the stretch option, and if I stretch these walls, I can see that the upgrade and the background update is in process. If I keep working in this view while this update process is happening, I can definitely improve my own performance in ARCHICAD. I can do other stuff while I know this update is in process. And now that it's finished, I can double click to my section. The section has been already updated. If I go to my 3D view, you can see that this is already updated. Okay, so let's see this same process with a video comparison we have. Okay, so let me switch to that video. Okay, so this is the video. Just give me a sec. Okay, so in here, the 8 processors cores are working on the 3D model update, while ARCHICAD 19, most of the cores are sleeping. This technology provides a huge performance advantage for ARCHICAD 19 users. It takes less than 2 seconds to open the sections, while in ARCHICAD 18 it took almost 10 seconds. Opening the 3D view is even faster. We don't even have to measure how long it takes. It's pretty much automatic. You will only be able to compare this process when you have a big project like this, so you can see how the performance is improved. Before we go, I like to remind you that we have some of these websites that You can find more information about ARCHICAD 19. You can train yourself with ARCHICAD Intermediate Training Series or Advanced Training Series. You just have to go to graphisoft.com, go to Learning, and go to Training Material. You can download ARCHICAD 19 from our website, mycadimage.com. Go to the Getting Started tab, and you can download 19. You can, if you don't have 19, you could also register for a trial version in myarchicad.com. And finally, if you go to our website, archicad.co.nz, you can go to the option Courses, ARCHICAD Upgrade Training, and you can register for the upgrade training sessions we'll have around New Zealand. Mark Horrocks and myself will be traveling around the country with a different example and a more complete version of the new ARCHICAD features, and we'll be showing you that on this specific date. If the course that you want to attend is already full, you can register as well for the upgrade training webinar recording that will be made on October the 14th and 15th, so you can register for that as well. So that's it for today. Thank you very much, and see you later.